We're ready for Coach Lubick. I'll start with Steven Sipple. Sipple, are you there?
Hello.
Yeah, I'm coming, Seamus. Just trying to get set up. Coach, hi, Coach. What were your first impressions of Iowa's defense, particularly up front?
Sure. I mean, first of all, really, really good. Statistically, I think in most categories, you're at the top of the conference. So, very sound, very physical. They're good up front, strong. Their linebackers run really well. They come downhill. They make you earn everything you got. They don't give up a ton of big plays. So, we got our work cut out for us.
Have you looked at third down and what you guys can do better on third down?
Yeah, that's something we practice all the time. Part of it's game plan. Part of it's getting in manageable situations. We've had a lot of third and longs. And, the percentage of converting third and longs as opposed to third and short and third and medium is not good. And so that's a big part of it is doing better on first and second down. So we're on our third downs are more manageable situations, which we work. But it's something that we stress every day. We do, like, for example, today we did 2 third down periods. We'll do another third down period tomorrow. It's something you got to practice because I'm a big believer. I mean, yeah, you can win or lose games on third down because if you don't convert on third down, it's a turnover. And if you do convert, well, then you keep the ball and at least a big plays and a whole bunch of other things. So, yeah, third down is one of the things that wins and loses football games that we're trying to get better at.
Thank you, Coach.
Mitch Sherman.
Thanks.
Hey, Matt, can you assess what you saw from your passing game on Saturday? What did work, and what you can fix in a short period of time?
Sure. Well, first, inconsistencies across the board. And it starts with the coaches. How can we put guys in better situations? And that's the first thing. Anytime you lose a football game, you got to look within. Number one, putting guys in good situations, putting guys in situations that they can handle, and making sure it's the right guys in those situations. So that's something we talk about every day. Against Illinois in particular, is inconsistent. They did make it challenging throwing the ball down the field on some of the, especially long yardage situations because, the safeties are 20 yards deep and everyone's dropping. They kind of force you to lay it off. But when they do force you to lay it off, we got to convert those, and run for first downs. And we had a couple of those where it was either a guy might not be in the right position or, throw was a little bit off. And those layoffs, I mean, you got to be 100% on those because those are easy throws. And then, the guy catching the ball has got to do a good job at ball security and getting us a first down when they play those situations. But that was pretty much it, and that not just the passing game, but just consistency all over. Because the better you run the ball, then that helps you from a passing standpoint because they got to play a little bit different. If they know you're in a situation where you got to throw the ball, it's to their advantage, and they can put more guys in coverage and they can play a lot softer.
Brian Christopherson.
Thanks.
Hey, Matt, how are those freshman receiver at taking critiques and understanding the process of getting better and having patience that it doesn't all come right away? How are they at that?
Sure. They've been doing a good job. I think, everyone gets frustrated when you lose. They all want to play. We all want to play better. We want to coach better. It's a work in progress. We're in a situation where, we're playing a lot of freshmen. That's not an excuse. It is what it is. And those guys, we got to play the best guys to give us a chance to win. Are they getting thrown into the fire a little bit more before they're ready? I don't know. At the end of the day, our opponents don't care if we're playing freshmen or seniors. And so they got to be ready to play. And so what we can do as coaches, that their attitude's been good, is just, we got to build their confidence. We got to put them in situations where they can be successful. We got to, as coaches, simplify our teaching so they can understand. That's a big thing with a freshman is they got to be able to understand your scheme to the point where they're not thinking they can just react. Because when you're a freshman, you've got so many different things that you're thinking about. You're learning an offense. You don't play as fast. And so that's a big thing is how can we simplify, how can we make the teaching so easy for them that they can just use their talent and play, and that's something that we're always working on as coaches. But the attitude's been good. I mean, they showed that this has probably been one of our better weeks of practice, which says a lot about those guys, and they want to work. That's why we recruited them. They want to work and they want to get better.
I have one more if I could. Omar was on the sideline Saturday. Has he stayed engaged in the process? Could he still pop up this season before it's over, or what's the
Yeah, no,
situation?
he's been good. The biggest thing with him is we just got to get him healthy. And so that's kind of a day-to-day situation. We got to get him healthy. He was making a lot of progress, but he just had some health setbacks.
Thank you.
Sam McEwen?
A process question here for you, Matt. Like, when you guys go through evaluating your quarterback play from the weekend before, how does that all work? Because, I mean, Scott is the head coach, but he's also a former quarterback. Mario is the quarterback's coach, and you're the offensive coordinator. So what's the process you guys go through evaluating and then communicating to the quarterbacks what you want to see from them going forward?
Yeah, good question. So number one, as a staff, we scrutinize every play at every position, including the quarterback position, and we talk about it. If he made a bad read or throws a little off, why did that happen? What can we do as coaches to help fix that? And then at the end, again, it follows into practice. Okay, like this week, it's an open competition. They're very close. So we evaluate every day and we really discuss it every day. And so the whole offensive staff is seeing every single play the quarterback does, and we talk about it. What he did well, what he can do better. At the end of the day, the decision will be made by Coach Frost, but he does, he listens to everybody, and we all have input on it. I know we've been really straightforward with the quarterbacks. Hey, these are the expectations. You did some good things. These are the things that we need to do better, just like every other position. And, we basically said whoever practices the best again this week will be the starter on Saturday.
I guess another process question. When you don't agree, to whom does the tie go?
That always goes to the head coach. That always goes. Fortunately, we got a really tight staff. There is not a lot of disagreements. I think guys feel free to come up and say their opinion, say, hey, I feel strongly about this guy. And Coach Frost encourages that. That's what makes him a good head coach, is he wants you to speak his mind. He'll ask you, hey, what do you think here? And don't just say it because I want you to say it. I want you to say what you believe. So we have the freedom as coaches to do that. We just don't have to agree. But at the end of the day, I think it's the mark of just a good staff, a good organization. There is one person that makes the final decision, and whatever he says, regardless if you disagree or not disagree, we all move forward, we're on the same page, and we back it. But fortunately for us, most of our decisions are pretty unanimous.
I'm trying to think, because you've coached at a lot of different places. Has that been true everywhere you've been, even when you've had a defensive head coach? Have you worked for a defensive head coach? I don't even know if I recall.
I have.
But
yeah, I was fortunate enough.
true?
My dad, which was a great experience, a defensive. He's my hero, my best buddy, and he listens to all these. So hi, Dad. I worked for a defensive head coach, and I think every staff's different. I've been really lucky. I've been on a lot of good staffs where the head coach, and I think it's a sign of being a good leader, really wants to hear from the assistant coaches what they think. At the end of the day, they're responsible for making the final decision, but they want to hear that because sometimes they know that they give them a different vantage point. They're more involved, and so that's been good. Our situation here, Coach Frost is definitely an offensive coach, so that does help with his decision. With that, for that situation in particular, it's like, hey, because he sees it every day. It'd be probably a harder situation if the head coach was on defense and didn't really see what was going on with the quarterbacks. But he sees it every day. He gets involved in meetings. He's out of practice. He watches every rep, so he's definitely qualified to make a good decision. But in saying that, he does look to us for opinions.
Okay, we'll do three more quickly. Jacob?
Yeah, Coach, I had a question about the running back position. I know Diedrich's been banged up, and I'm just curious, in your opinion, as just an offensive coordinator and a football coach, do you like having a running back sort of by committee, or do you like more having one guy who can give you like 31 attempts a game or 20 attempts a game?
Yeah, it's a good question. It depends. I think you got to have more than one running back because it's the nature of the position. Guys get banged up, so that's and we think we have depth. If a guy gets hot, you always like to have a guy that can carry the ball 20 times a game, and some guys get better the more they carry it. So it's not. There's not a perfect answer. I mean, you got to have. I'm a big believer. You got to have at least 4 running backs that can play, and when I say can play, they can all be trusted to carry the ball, pass protect, make plays with their hands, and we feel we have that. So because you just don't know what's going to happen. It's probably one of the positions that's most prone to injury, and so that's something that we feel we have depth. And when one guy goes down, it really is a next man up. And the only way you can have a next man up is you got to have a next man that's capable, and that guy that's not only capable is taking those type of reps.
And do you sort of feel like you have like when you do sort of have a committee, you have role players at running back, like you have one guy short yardage situation, one guy who can catch the ball. Is that kind of one of the things that's helpful about it?
Yeah, a little bit. I think each back's a little bit different. I mean, some guys might be a little more physical downhill runners, where some guys are better pass receivers. Some guys might be better at pass protecting. So I think each guy has his strengths and weaknesses, and we try to capitalize those and get those guys in the right situations.
Sean Kellen?
Hey, Coach, I wanted to go back to that very first play of the game on Saturday. When that play happened, I mean, from your vantage point, are you able to communicate with Scott, hey, I'm fairly positive, Coach, that was not a backwards pass. We better call a timeout here, burn it, and have them look at this if they don't do it on the officiating end? I mean, what's the communication process like with your spot to Coach Frost in a situation like that?
Yeah, you bet. So we do have access to the video like all staffs do in the box, and basically it definitely wasn't. It wasn't close. I mean, it was close, but they reviewed it. Supposedly, the referees told us they reviewed it, and it is what it is, because we were going to challenge it, because that in that situation is definitely worth a challenge. We had it in the box. The box was kind of unclear cut. What we were told from the officials is that they looked at it.
And then I had one more on Oliver Martin. Is with his background with Iowa, do you get the sense this week means a lot more to him?
Oh yeah. I mean, Oliver. First of all, he's doing a great job for us, and it was good to see him make some plays in that game. His progress has been slowed for us, not by his fault at all, but because we didn't know he was eligible until about 2 weeks ago. But to his credit, he's done a great job of staying in tune, learning, taking a bunch of mental reps, which got him on the field. And then once he got on the field, he made some plays for us. So I think he's got some confidence. And then, playing against a school that you used to be at is a big deal, and I'm sure it's going to help him.
Okay, we'll finish up with Parker Gabriel.
Hey, Matt. Greg Austin said, and I'm sure every football team out there said before the season, that you want to have things in the run game that you can really hang your hat on and do consistently and do well. And I'm wondering, do you have those to the extent that you'd like to at this point in this season? And what are they? What do you feel, that you guys can do well consistently in the run game at this point? Sure.
Well, first off, we talk about that all the time. Part of coaching is finding out what you're good at, and then once you do, I mean, how to make that better, and then doing that over and over and over again, but maybe like in different forms. And so, we thought, first of all, we got to be more consistent and better at everything, and we're always looking to do that. But you do really got to hone in on, say, hey, what is our bread and butter? We think we got to be able to run the ball outside zone and inside zone. That's been the bread and butter for the history of this offense. But still have the ability to get the ball on the perimeter, through different things, whether it's quick passing game, whether it's, just outside type runs and screens. And so, those are all things we've talked about. We've done well at times. The quarterback run game has been well at times. But one of the things that I think you're asking me too is we're trying to simplify. And not just in the run game, but also in the passing game. And when you simplify, it's like, okay, what do you do really good? How do we improve on that? And not practice too many different things. Because the more you try to do a lot of things, it takes away from the stuff you're really good at. So we talk about that literally every day. And not just in the run game, but in the passing game. What can our guys understand and compete at a high level and run fast and execute? And part of that is, reps. And part of that is studying yourself. So we do a self-scout every game of what we've done well and what we haven't done well. And we did that same thing in fall camp.
That concludes our session with Coach Lubick. We'll be back momentarily with Coach Nander.